CJ, you ever notice how your shopping cart has a mind of its own?
Well, that's what I start every grocery shop in the cookie aisle.
Picture this. You're at the local Megamart, cruising down the dairy aisle at speed because you're on a mission from God. And you've only got 20 minutes between picking up your kids from the local dojo and making sure they don't spend a lifetime blaming you for their brittle bones and weak teeth. And then bam! Find yourself staring at a display of seasonal candles you never planned to buy. But oh, did they smell nice.
Mmm, what scent is that?
Oh, velour sandals and whispered rain.
Irresistible. So I guess you drop a couple of those into your cart?
Damn straight. And then you find out at the checkout that you just dropped a crisp hundo on 3 jars of smelly tarts.
You bought velour sandals and whispered rain, but when you light them up, smells more like deep disappointment and short on the rent money.
And how did it happen? You were beeline into the full fat cream, and suddenly your cart drifted into the aisle end cap with the pricey wares.
Wonky wheel?
You'd think that, right?
Every cart's got one. Always the front. I've had more carts swipe left and right than my Tinder history.
Well, today we're going to tell you why. He's Chunder Joe.
And he's not.
And this is Chunderstruck Media. And on today's episode, we're going deep.
Mariana's Trench deep.
Below the thermocline deep.
Down where they keep the megs.
Where you're just putzing around on a routine recon mission, only to find yourself playing monkey in the middle with a school of randy megalodons during prime mating season, and things are about to get a little, how should I put it?
Spicy?
Yeah, spicy. Let's go. Today, we're diving into something that affects millions of people every single day. Something so insidious, so carefully orchestrated that you've probably experienced it hundreds of times without ever questioning.
Wait a minute. Were we just talking about shopping carts?
Not just shopping carts, my match-seeking friend. Magnetically manipulated shopping carts. Today, we're exposing the shopping cart magnetic field theory, the idea that major retail chains are using strategically placed electromagnetic fields embedded in store floors to subtly guide your cart towards high-margin products, effectively hijacking your shopping experience at the molecular level.
Oh man. Let's just hope the wheels on the cart they use to haul you off to the loony bin don't have any magnetic manipulation.
CJ, I want you to think back to your last grocery store visit. Picture yourself pushing that cart down the cereal aisle. Did you notice anything unusual about how it moved?
Well, now that I think of it, there was a little shimmy as I turned the Captain Crunch corner and almost knocked over a display of organic granola. But I'm pretty sure that was due to the broken front wheel.
Ah, but that's exactly what they want you to think. The broken wheel is the perfect cover story. But tell me this, have you ever noticed how the cart seems to drift towards certain displays? How it becomes slightly harder to steer past the pricey name brand cereals? How it almost seems to resist when you try to push it towards the discount generic brands at the bottom shelf?
That's just poor wheel alignment. A few love taps with a ball peen hammer or a couple of squirts from the Tin Man should make that right as rain.
Or is it? According to my research, the average American grocery store shopper spends 43 minutes per visit and makes an average of 4.2 unplanned purchases that weren't on the original list. But here's the interesting part. These unplanned purchases aren't randomly distributed throughout the store. They cluster around specific product categories with notably higher profit margins.
That's actually kind of interesting. But correlation doesn't equal causation.
Oh, sure. And next you're going to tell me E equals MC squared.
No, I think Girl Meets World told you that.
And that's exactly what Big Grocery wants you to believe. But let's dig deeper. The shopping cart, as we know it, was invented in 1937 by Selwyn Goldman in Oklahoma City. Simple basket on wheels. But by the 1960s, something changed. Carts started being manufactured with steel frames instead of aluminum or wood. Why the switch to ferromagnetic materials?
Maybe because steel is cheaper and more durable?
Well, that's the surface explanation, but consider this. Steel is also highly susceptible to magnetic fields, and around the same time steel carts became standard, retailers began installing what they called anti-theft systems throughout their stores. Electromagnetic security gates, radio frequency identification tags, magnetic strip deactivation system.
But those are actual security measures.
Are they though? Or is it simply retail theater and misdirection? Ever pay close attention to the security cams and notice they're not connected to anything? Ever notice you're walking down an aisle and you hear, "Security check, Zodi," over the intercom? Did it ever occur to you that this is an automated recording played at random intervals to give the illusion the store has eyes on and security personnel to enact enforcement? It's all a theatrical performance to make you believe. The electronic measures are just a bigger part of the ruse. What if I told you that the real purpose of all that magnetic infrastructure wasn't to catch shoplifters, but to create an invisible web of magnetic influence throughout the entire store?
I'd probably ask you for some evidence.
No problemo. Let's start with the layout. Walk into any major grocery chain, and you'll notice something peculiar. The most expensive, highest margin products are always positioned at specific locations. End caps on aisles, eye level shelves, islands in the middle of wide walkways. But here's what's really interesting. These high profit product placement zones correspond almost exactly with areas where shopping carts tend to linger.
They tend to linger because that's where stores put the most attractive displays. It's basic retail psychology.
Or is it basic electromagnetic manipulation? I've been conducting my own field research. Over the past 6 months, I visited 47 grocery stores across the city, armed with a digital compass and a Gauss meter.
A what now?
A Gauss meter. It's a scientific tool that measures magnetic field strength.
Where did you get a Gauss meter?
Aboard your mouth.
My mom has a Gauss meter?
I'll admit it was a little old school, but it did come with a cool backpack for convenient hands-free operation.
And what did you find out?
Well, when you're walking down grocery aisles, gaussing for signals, you tend to hear more than your fair share of Ghostbuster jokes. And, you get bullied a lot.
And that's surprising to you?
Yeah, I guess gaussing's not cool anymore.
Kind of like your spores, mold, and fungus collection, eh?
Sorry, what?
Nothing? Maybe we should focus on the carts.
And what I found was absolutely mind-blowing. In areas where shopping carts consistently cluster, those end caps, those eye-level displays, those promotional islands, the magnetic field readings were consistently 15 to 30% higher than the baseline store average.
Okay, but couldn't that be explained by security systems you mentioned? Anti-theft tags, deactivation devices, maybe even a spook, specter, or ghost.
That's what I thought initially, but then I made a breakthrough discovery. I started mapping the magnetic field variations against product profit margin, and the correlation was undeniable. The strongest magnetic readings consistently occurred in zones promoting products with profit margins 40% above the average.
Okay, so if I reluctantly go down this rabbit hole, how does it work?
Ready for some science?
Born ready. And you know what they say?
Fortune favors the brave.
Not quite. If you're born ready, you don't have to get ready.
To understand how this works, we need to examine the physics of magnetic manipulation. What do you know about magnetic field gradient forces?
Well, I know Magneto beats Wolverine.
Yeah, and Spock vaporizes rock and smashes scissors. But here's the real science. When a ferromagnetic object, like a steel shopping cart, moves to a varying magnetic field, it experiences what's called a gradient force. Essentially, the cart gets pulled towards area of stronger magnetic field intensity.
With you so far?
The beauty of this system is its subtlety. We're not talking about powerful electromagnets that would yank out your nip piercings.
Hey, you promised you'd keep that between us.
Science demands the truth be forced into the light. We're talking about carefully calibrated field variations that create gentle but persistent directional bias. The shopper doesn't consciously notice anything unusual. The cart just seems to want to drift in certain directions.
Boy, if this were true, wouldn't people notice their carts being pulled around? And wouldn't the nips tingle just a little?
What the? Think about it. When you're pushing a shopping cart, how much attention are you paying to minor steering adjustments? You're reading your list, looking for products, maybe talking on your phone. Your brain automatically compensates for small directional changes without conscious awareness.
I definitely do the cart steering on autopilot, but I'm still laying 2 points on the under on this one.
And here's where it gets really sophisticated. Based on my research, I believe major retailers are using a 3-layer magnetic manipulation system. Layer 1, baseline electromagnetic infrastructure from security systems. Layer 2, strategically placed rare earth magnets embedded in floor tiles beneath high-profit displays. Layer 3, variable electromagnetic field generators that can be adjusted based on real-time sales data.
Layer 4, flux capacitors.
Now you're just being ridiculous. Who's going to be able to get a shopping cart with a wonky wheel up to 88 miles per hour?
Marty, duh.
Moving on, let's look at the timeline.
The sacred timeline. You gonna break out the temporal loom next?
No, but I am going to break out the Xeon mainframe. The widespread adoption of computerized inventory management systems in grocery stores began in the 1980s. Electronic price tags started appearing in the 1990s. Self-checkout systems became standard in the 2000s. These retailers were already investing heavily in sophisticated electronic infrastructure.
Sure, but those are practical business systems.
Are they? Or are they the perfect cover for deploying more advanced customer manipulation technology? Think about it. Every major grocery chain already has extensive computer networks, power systems, and electronic monitoring throughout their stores. Adding magnetic field generation to the infrastructure would be relatively simple.
I mean, theoretically possible doesn't mean it's actually happening.
Doesn't it though? Let's examine the corporate incentives. Check this out.
Check this out. You're seriously throwing a checkout line reference?
The average grocery store operates on razor-thin profit margins, typically 1 to 2% overall, but individual product categories vary wildly. Store brands and generic products, 25 to 30% markup. Name brand cereals and snacks, 40 to 50% markup. Organic and premium products, 60 to 100% markup or more.
Okay, so there's definitely some motivation to steer people toward higher profit items.
Massive motivation. If a magnetic field system could increase high margin product sales by even 5%, it would represent millions of dollars in additional annual profits for a major chain. The technology investment would pay for itself within months.
Wouldn't the government regulate something like this? Subliminal consumer manipulation?
Magnetic field manipulation wouldn't fall under traditional subliminal advertising regulations because it's not audio or visual. It's physical influence. Second, who do you think lobbies the regulatory agencies? The same corporate interests that would benefit from this technology.
Big magnet!
Huh, oh, the irony. But wait, it gets worse, much worse. I want to share some of the specific evidence I collected during my field research. Are you ready for this?
Do I have a choice?
Well, I can offer the red pill or the blue pill. Which you choose is yours and yours alone.
Fine, I'll take the red pill.
Solid. Let's go through the evidence I've been carefully gathering. Check this out. These are magnetic field readings I took at 17 different Megamart locations. Notice anything?
Yeah, your readings look suspiciously like the drilling pattern for Oak Island. Promisingly inconclusive.
Sorry, it's upside down.
The readings are consistently higher near certain areas?
Not just higher. Look at the pattern. End cap displays average 23% above baseline. Eye-level shelving in the center aisles average 18% above baseline. Promotional islands average 31% above baseline. And here's the kicker. Checkout lane impulse purchase zones average 47% above baseline. All statistically significant anomalies.
Okay, that's definitely a pattern. But couldn't that be explained by all the electronic equipment in those areas?
Sure, that's what I thought too. So I did a control test. Check this out. I took readings at 3 different hardware stores, 2 electronics retailers, and a bookstore. Similar levels of security equipment and electronic infrastructure. Result, no consistent magnetic field variations corresponding to high product placement.
It's actually somewhat compelling.
But the smoking gun came from an unexpected source. Let me pull this up. This is a leaked internal training document from a major retail consulting firm. It's titled Advanced Customer Flow Optimization Through Environmental Psychology.
Where'd you get that?
Let's just say I have sources who believe the public deserves to know the truth. Look at this quote. Emerging technologies in magnetic field management allowed for unprecedented precision in customer pathway influence. When properly implemented, shoppers experience subtle directional guidance that feels entirely natural while significantly improving high product engagement metrics.
That actually says that about magnetic field management.
It gets better. Here, installation recommendations include rare earth magnetic elements embedded in flooring systems beneath optimal product placement zones, with variable intensity controls tied to real-time sales analytics. Customer testing indicates 98.7% of subjects remain unaware of directional influence while exhibiting measurably altered shopping patterns.
This is starting to sound less crazy train and more genuinely disturbing.
Disturbing? We're talking about the systematic manipulation of millions of shoppers through invisible magnetic forces. But it doesn't stop there. I also obtained internal emails from a major flooring contractor that specializes in retail installations.
More leaked documents?
The truth wants to be free. Here's an email from their head of retail solutions. Magnetic integration systems for grocery applications showing excellent ROI results. Latest test installations show 12 to 15% increase in high margin category sales within 60 days of deployment. Recommend expanding magnetic floor tile program to all major chain accounts.
Magnetic floor tiles. That's actually specific enough to verify.
Exactly, and I did just that. These are pictures I secretly took of floor installation work of the new Megamart under construction. Notice anything unusual?
I mean, you staked out a grocery store. I call that pretty unusual.
It was only for 3 weeks, but look at the tiles.
Well, they're not my style, and that color is definitely going to show the dirt. But what is that design?
Bingo! Those are tiny metallic inserts precisely positioned beneath what would become high profit product displays. I watched them install the entire system over 3 days. Floor goes in first, then the magnetic enhancement elements, then the final surface layer. The whole thing is activated when they install the security system infrastructure.
This whole thing is starting to sound less like a theory and more like actual corporate conspiracy.
Now you're getting it, but the scope is even broader than individual stores. What if I told you this isn't about individual grocery stores implementing magnetic manipulation systems? What if this is a coordinated, industry-wide initiative?
Well, I'd ask you to prove it.
Okay, check this out. Meet Retail Dynamics Corporation. They're a customer experience optimization company that provides consulting services to 73% of the major grocery chains in the United States. Their specialty, quote, advanced environmental psychology applications for enhanced customer journey management.
Environmental psychology sounds innocent enough.
Does it? Check out their corporate website. Our proprietary magnet system, magnetic attraction guided navigation enhancement technology, represents the cutting edge of customer flow optimization. Magnet, they literally named their system after magnetic attraction.
Come on, either the most blatant naming ever or the most coincidental.
There are no coincidences in corporate America. Retail Dynamics has contracts with all the top megamarts and dozens of regional chains. Their magnetic floor enhancement systems have been installed in over 12,000 stores nationwide over the past 8 years.
12,000 stores? That's a lot as grocery stores.
It's not just grocery stores. They also have contracts with major pharmacy chains, electronic retailers, department stores, and even some restaurants. Anyone who uses shopping carts and wants to optimize customer spending patterns.
So you're saying there's like a secret network of magnetically manipulated shopping experiences across the entire retail industry?
Not secret, hidden in plain sight. Here, check out this brochure from Retail Dynamics Marketing Material. They openly advertise magnetic customer guidance systems and electromagnetic pathway optimization. They just use euphemistic language that makes it sound like harmless efficiency improvement.
Increase basket value through subtle environmental cues. Guide customers to premium product categories. Optimize traffic flow using invisible influence techniques. This is their actual marketing copy?
Yeah, corporate America isn't hiding their manipulation tactics. They're bragging about them to each other. The only people being kept in the dark are the consumers being manipulated.
More manipulated than a private school principal being greased up with a frosty pint and Edge of 17 on a jukebox.
Much more.
But if this was so widespread, why hasn't anyone exposed it before?
Who would expose it? The retail industry? They're making billions from this technology. The government? These same companies lobby regulators and fund political campaigns. The mainstream media? Their advertising revenue comes from, guess who?
Same retailers using the magnetic manipulation systems?
Exactly. It's a perfect closed loop of incentives. Everyone with the power to expose this system also benefits from keeping it secret.
But what about consumer advocacy groups, independent journalists?
Oh, there have been attempts. Small investigations, academic studies, consumer complaints. But what happens when someone gets too close to the truth? You get headlines like, local reporter's grocery store investigations ends after legal threat. University study on retail magnetism loses funding. Consumer advocacy group dissolves after corporate pressure came.
That would sound actually kind of sinister.
The truth is always sinister to those who profit from lies.
We should slap that on a t-shirt.
But this evidence is overwhelming. This isn't just a theory anymore. It's a documented conspiracy involving thousands of stores, millions of customers, and billions of dollars in manipulated purchases. I need you to understand the full scope of what we're dealing with here. This isn't just about grocery shopping. This is about the fundamental erosion of consumer free will.
That sounds dramatic.
Is it? Think about it. Every time you enter a store with this technology, your purchasing decisions are being influenced by invisible forces you're not aware of. The products you buy, the money you spend, even your brand loyalties, they're all being shaped by magnetic manipulation systems designed to maximize corporate profits.
When you put it like that, it does sound like a violation of consumer rights.
It's a violation of human autonomy. These systems are literally hijacking your brain's navigation and decision making processes. The subtle cart movements influence your attention patterns, which affects your product choices, which shapes your purchasing habits, which ultimately determines how you spend your money.
And this is happening in thousands of stores?
Millions of people are being manipulated every day without their knowledge or consent. The cumulative effect on consumer spending patterns, brand market shares, even individual family budgets is astronomical.
Even if this is all true, what can people actually do about it?
I'm glad you asked, because awareness is the first step towards resistance. Once you know what to look for, the magnetic manipulation becomes much more obvious. Cart pulling towards expensive displays? Magnetic influence. Difficulty steering away from premium brands? Magnetic influence. Unexpected impulse near high field zone? Magnetic influence. You got it.
So basically, be cautious of your cart's behavior?
Precisely, but it goes deeper. I've developed what I call the magnetic resistance shopping protocol. First, use a non-metallic cart when possible. Some stores offer plastic or aluminum carts that aren't susceptible to magnetic influence. Second, make detailed shopping lists that stick to them rigidly. Third, avoid end caps and promotional displays entirely. Fourth, shop during off-peak hours when electromagnetic systems might be running at lower intensity.
Those are actually practical suggestions.
But the ultimate solution is exposure. The more people who understand this manipulation, the less effective it's become. That's why we're here. That's why this research matters. Every viewer who becomes aware of magnetic manipulation is one more person who can resist it.
And potentially one more person who chooses to shop at stores that don't use these systems.
If any such stores still exist, my research suggests the technology has become so widespread that finding truly unmanipulated shopping environments is becoming nearly impossible.
So what's the end game here? Where does this all lead? What does it all mean, Basil?
That is the terrifying question. If retailers can successfully manipulate purchasing behavior through magnetic fields, what's the next step? Electromagnetic systems that influence mood and emotion? Magnetic field patterns that affect decision making beyond just shopping? Radio frequency manipulation that shapes thoughts and preferences?
Now you're getting into mind control territory.
Am I, or am I just extrapolating current technology to its logical conclusion? The infrastructure is already there. The corporate incentives exist. The regulatory framework is absent. What's stopping them from expanding electromagnetic manipulation beyond shopping carts?
That's actually a disturbing thought, and I hear what you're saying, and you've almost got me believing. But I can't get past one thing.
All right, well, don't fight it. The truth's got good traction. Lay it on me.
2 words. Magnetic induction.
How Big Magnet recruits new members?
No. It's the residual magnetism that's transferred to a ferrous material when exposed to magnets.
Right, like when you drag a magnet across a nail, the nail is slightly magnetized afterwards.
That's the one.
What's the ish?
Well, we all have iron components on us. Our smartphones, coins, keys.
Nip rings?
Seriously.
Go on.
If this magnetism was so prevalent in all the grocery stores, I'm pretty sure some of the magnetism would have transferred to the metal we're carrying and we'd notice. I just don't buy that we wouldn't notice.
The grocery has that covered too. I've got 2 words for you. Magnetic degausser.
Right. Another fancy piece of high-end tech.
No, actually, it's quite clever and diabolically simple. You might know it better as the grocery stick.
You mean the bar you put on the conveyor belt to separate your groceries from other shoppers?
One and the same, and it's so genius. They've conditioned you to use the bar, and when you pick it up, it secretly degausses any residual magnetism that may have been induced to the iron you're packing.
Wow, like touching something grounded to discharge static electricity?
Mundo.
Wow. Also explains why I have to keep replacing my debit card.
And now you believe. So there you have it, Chunder Maniacs. The shopping cart magnetic field theory isn't just a theory anymore. It's a documented reality affecting millions of consumers worldwide. The evidence is overwhelming. Leaked corporate documents, magnetic field measurements, industry insider testimonies, and a clear pattern of coordinated implementation across major retail chains.
I have to admit, when you started talking about magnetic shopping carts, I thought you'd completely lost it. But the documentation you've compiled is genuinely compelling.
The truth often sounds crazy at first. That's what makes it so easy to hide. But once you see the patterns, once you understand the incentives, once you examine the evidence, the conspiracy becomes undeniable.
So the next time that you're in the grocery store and your cart seems to have a mind of its own, maybe it actually does. Maybe it's being guided by an invisible force designed to part you from your money.
Question everything. Trust your instincts, and remember, in a world where nothing is ever what it seems, even your shopping cart might be working against you.
I'm honestly never going to be able to shop the same way again.
Neither will our viewers. Don't forget to subscribe to Chunderstrike Media for more investigations into the hidden forces shaping your everyday lives.
Scotty Trump, zombie. By the way, Dwayne Johnson wipes the floor with Leonard Nimoy, something like that, because he said Spot vaporizes rock. Sure, but those are all just practical business systems.
Or are they? Are they? More manipulated than a private school principal greased up with a frosty pint at Edge of 17 on the jukebox? Bailed it. I'm glad you asked.